Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I kind of wanted to do a tutorial and comparison between Midjourney version 6 and Midjourney version 6.1. And I wanted to compare if the results are better, slower, faster, etc. And obviously, what I'm personally doing is I'm utilizing it on relaxed mode. If you guys are familiar, I do have fast hours and turbo hours available. I'm currently utilizing relaxed mode just so we can see a long-term benefit of those. For the people who are watching and they're not familiar with my channel, and maybe they're watching me for the first time, first I'll say welcome to the channel, of course. But the reason why we create images like this is for either print on demand and stock photography, right? So we're always trying to make money from the tools and the AI that we utilize. And for us as, stock photographers, for example, people who are creating, well, technically not stock photographers, but people who are creating AI stock photography, we always want the best results for the cheapest cost, essentially, and the cheapest time. The less amount of time that we're invested, the more we'll make out of it in the end. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a review, comparison, and let's go ahead and take a look at things. So first off, for those who are curious, you can go ahead and utilize version 6.1. It's been out for easily over a week and a half now. So I'm assuming some of you guys have been able to test it, but basically the difference between version 6 and version 6.1 that Midjourney states is that version 6.1 was released on July 30th, so roughly a week and a half, and it is the new default model. It produces more coherent images with precise details and textures and generates images approximately 25% faster than version 6. I'll state this, I kind of disagree a little, okay? So as far as the speed, I didn't really sit here and test it. However, I did notice that version 6 produces a little bit more coherent images, in my opinion. And I'll kind of give you an explanation as to why, and we'll see a comparison. For most of the time, not all the time, but for most of the time. And we're actually going to do like a live comparison of different images and different prompts. So here I have created literally a whole bunch of different images, and I want to kind of start right here. So these are different images of elements that I asked it to create, and these are all with version 6.1, and I can point out some immediate, let's just say, negatives. If you zoom in, like the texture on this nut, the white area or the lighter colored tone just doesn't look all that natural or doesn't look that realistic, and my prompt was pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and I totally understand that certain AIs have problems with certain characteristics, and that's why I created many different images, right? So in terms of coherency is really defined by the taking in the prompt, assuming and understanding what the user wants, even if the prompt isn't perfect, and then spitting out an image related to that. So let's just skip this for a second because these images were actually produced decently well. In fact, I would say this one is my favorite. But if we pass this prompt setting, we look at these prompts of these pumpkins, none of these, I would say, are what I was looking for, right? And I specifically typed in the word pumpkin because there are different looks for pumpkins. Like if somebody saw this, they would say, okay, that's a pumpkin. If somebody saw this, this is a pumpkin, but it's not a traditional pumpkin. The traditional pumpkin is that orange pumpkin, something that looks like this, but in the orange color. I'm not sure why it was pink here. And then this one is like a top shot of one of those deformed looking pumpkins, which are fine. I mean, it just depends on what you like, but it's not what I was looking for. So in terms of coherency, I do see some lack, right? I do see some lack in terms of coherency as opposed to version 6. Once again, I didn't necessarily test the speed, but I did feel like version 6.1 was a little faster than version 6. And my theory kind of lines up with what is being stated. So if the version 6.1 is faster than version 6, then obviously version 6 is going to have more detail. Not necessarily all the time, right, that the previous version will be better than the next version. But in this case, because version 6 and version 6.1 are not that far apart in terms of like setting, steps, the detail, I think version 6 is a little bit better. I'm just going to keep it real. Let's take a look at these images. Like, these images are version 6.1 of pigeons. They don't look that great. I'm just going to keep it real. They don't look that amazing. They don't look that realistic. These were some pictures of seeds that I would say actually did a really good job on this, and this was a version 6.1. So it's not like you're going to go bad entirely if you ask it to do images with 6.1. Once again, here are some images with version 6.1, but I also want to compare it to version 6. So now that we have these pumpkins, let's say these orange pumpkins, in version 6.1, let's go ahead and test it with version 6. So all I have to do is go over my settings here, make sure I'm on 6, maybe even put my quality parameter, which right here, let's put that in, and let's submit it. And so that's going to take about a minute to be submitted. And I'm sorry, guys, if I'm breathing heavier, my nose is messed up. I am feeling a little sick, but it's okay. Let's just keep it going. You could see here we have pictures of bananas on version 6.1. We have pictures of cabbage on 6.1. We have pictures of tomatoes on 6.1, pineapples, and this was interesting. The best pineapple out of this lineup is probably this one, in my opinion. Either this one or this one, in terms of realism, right? In terms of colors, this one is probably the best. Okay. Now this is version 6, and I asked for a pink pineapple, which this is not actually what I was looking for. There are some pineapples where there's a pink color on the inside, and that's what I was kind of looking for, just to test it. So I kind of have to negate these results. Here we have version 6. Now look at this version 6. This lemon is not ideal. The pores are a little bit too big, but it's not bad. This one is much more ideal. This is very, very good, and this is a version 6 one. This is very good as well. I have nothing negative to say here, and this one is really good as well, right? So only this one I would say is not perfect. These are pictures of strawberries, and I would say, although they don't look realistic, they do look very good. They look very, very nice, very good overall. The details, the colors, the little seeds on the strawberries. I can't really point out something that looks too bad. Of course, it doesn't look 100% natural, but it will suffice for sure. These are also version 6. So remember, this is version 6, this was version 6, this was version 6, and this was version 6. Okay, these are pictures of cherries, and you could almost see the very fine details, the characteristics on the skin of that cherry. Almost like you could peel off the skin in a way, like surgically peel it off. Here, same thing, looks absolutely phenomenal. Here, this one looks good. Not as much detail as the other one, but you could see some budding here that's going on, these leaves. And then we have this photo here, which also looks pretty good. I can't really say anything too negative, and it is very coherent. The green is at the top of the stem, right? And then here it goes a little bit darker, which indicates this is ready to be picked. So it's pretty good, right? Let's go ahead and scroll up. All right, so this was, again, the whole pink pineapple concept, but when I asked for a slice of pink pineapple, it still didn't provide that, so I'll have to negate that as well. But these are, once again, the oranges. Very nice, I would say. Maybe the pores are a little bit too much on these images, but overall it's pretty good. I think when you add some wrinkles to it, like right here, it looks a little more natural. Now let's talk about the watermelon. So this is version 6 again, and I like this one. I think I give this one like an 8 out of 10. I give this one like a 2 out of 10 because this is not how watermelons look like. I don't know what this was here. This must have been some sort of error. Maybe it was trying to draw like a picture of a slice outside of this, but it's obviously discombobulated. And then we have here a probably like a 9 out of 10, I would say. Obviously the color is not perfect, or, it's not that it's not perfect. The shape is not ideal, but once again, that's only because of the shape that I gave it. I gave it a 1-to-1 shape size. So if you're familiar, I'm talking about this image size here. So if I switched up the size to, for example, something like this, right, it would change up how it looks. And this is just phenomenal. I'll give this one a 10 out of 10 here, or a 9 out of 10 actually. I think the veins inside that watermelon, like the white parts, the fiber parts, are a little too much. So if it was me, I would like creative upscale something like this just to get a different look. But overall, it's really good. This is grapes, so I think all of the images of the grapes it knocked out of the park. So I asked for purple grapes specifically, and you can see how they look. This is the negative where there's like some text on it, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to use it, but I have other images. But you get the point. You see how these look. They all look really, really good. And once again, version 6. So this is version 6 of some plums. You could see here the skin, the detail, the little marks on the skin. Nothing negative I could say here. Once again, this is version 6. So, picture of a parrot. I really like this one. This one's okay. This one's really good. I do prefer for stock photography something that fits in within the frame, right? So you see how this whole entire image fits in the frame. When I'm doing images with like a white background like this is kind of what I'm looking for. And if you want me to talk about how to get these white backgrounds a little bit more, I'll be happy to do so in a separate video. Literally just let me know and I'll give you a tutorial on that. These are pictures of apricots, which, by the way, Midjourney's competitor, Leonardo AI, in my experience, has had trouble with apricots. That's just my experience. This is a decent image. This looks more realistic than this one, in my opinion. Like, these lines are just too much, But this one's okay. The skin tone just doesn't look 100%. I would say if I was to rate the skin tone of this apricot, it looks like a 45%, realism. This one is a little bit more realistic. I would give it like a 55%. But overall, it's not where it needs to be, right? And then this one is probably the best one out of all of them. I would give this one a 7.5 or a 75 out of 100. Overall, it's pretty good. You can kind of see those little hairs coming out of the apricot, which they're like little fuzzies, little hairy kind of aspects of the apricot, but it's really good. This one is by far the best, in my opinion. All right. So let's talk about comparisons. So this is a ice cream sundae prompt. There's really nothing else to it. I gave it a lot of leeway to pick what it wants to do, and you can see kind of how they look. So mind you, this is version 6. So this is the first one, right? This is the second one. This is the third one. And this is the fourth one. So overall, not too bad. And once again, version 6. So here we have version 7. Okay, so here we have this one, this one, this one, and this one. So out of all the images, right, I would say either this is my favorite or this is my favorite. But now these are version 6.1s here. However, if you do look at the finer details, like you look at the raspberry here, this raspberry is outlined perfectly. This looks very realistic. If you look at this raspberry, it's not as outlined, or even this, whatever this is, maybe it's supposed to be a raspberry or this blob here that's like the same color as the raspberry. That's what kind of decreases points for me, right? Like this raspberry with the outlines and the little texture here, it doesn't look as realistic as an image like this, for example, because these raspberries look real. So in terms of textures and coherence and preciseness, I do not agree with what Midjourney claims that 6.1 is better. I actually think it's regressing in terms of preciseness and quality. I'll just be honest there. However, in terms of speed, like I said, I did notice a little bit faster. So now let's kind of take a look at this. So this is version 6. So let's compare version 6 right here to version 6.1. Let's see here. So yeah, version 6.1 I think takes the cake on this. It wins on this, version 6.1. So for me on the sundaes, I would give version 6 to win, right? Although that's just because the detail, like the finer detail. However, I do like the way this one looks and this one. Now, only because they're more plain as opposed to these. Like there's a lot of nuts here, a lot of chocolate, a lot of raspberries. I do like these images more. I find that they would probably get, bought more or downloaded more. However, like I said, from my conclusion, what I tend to see there's much more specificity and much more detail. Not much more. I don't want to say much more because, that could be misconstrued. But I would say maybe 7 to 12% more preciseness on images in version 6 than version 6.1. However, version 6.1 does provide a little more of what you can expect, right, in terms of an image. However, once again, then the question becomes, would you sacrifice speed for output? I personally wouldn't. I would go with the slower option if it's better, So it's not that I would never use 6.1. Videos like this, I don't want people to walk away with some sort of decree or some sort of law. I'll use 6.1. I'll use 6.0. And I really wouldn't give too much mind to either one. But if you want to use version 6, you're not going wrong. If you want to use version 6.0, you're not going wrong. I just wanted to make this video to kind of outline what you can expect with both. For those who are curious, when I use my automation tools, right, like here and here, I have to switch out my license key, but when I use this tool and this tool, the ones that I featured yesterday, and it's creating for me, I'll leave it on relaxed mode. I do not need to use fast or turbo. I'll keep things nice and slow, and it'll create for me, 100, 200, 300 images while I'm out and about doing something. So I'll use relaxed, regardless if it's in 6.1 or 6.0. Just depends on what I want to do. So hopefully this video helped you guys out, and we talked about it. Like I said, I don't agree with what Midjourney states, how it's more precise. I do not see it to be more precise. I do not see more detail. I'm not sure where they got that from, but probably it's a little more understanding of what a typical image is looking for, and it's a little faster. And that makes perfect sense. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if an AI output is of the same ranking, like 6 versus 6.1 or 6.2, if one is faster than the other by a significant amount, it means one is using less resources. If one is using less resources and it's faster, then it's probably going to use less detail or have less output in detail. So, obviously it depends on how they train it. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think so. All right. You guys saw the results here. You be the judge. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching, and peace out. Bye.